Hello, viewers. This is a mini series on the topic of judgment. Personally, I hate being judged more than anything else. I worry about what other people think a lot, and so much that I would rather almost be invisible. But wherever you stand on the idea of judgment, in reality, judgment is actually good. The Bible addresses the topic of judgment in a lot of places, but today we'll be reading out of chapter 4 of Peter, verse 17. For it is time for judgment to begin in the household of God, and if it begins with us first, what will be the outcome of those who do not obey the gospel of God? You see, it doesn't matter how we're judged down here. The only judgment that matters is God's judgment. Pulling from another Bible verse, Psalm chapter 84, verse 10. For better is one day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere. I would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than dwell in the tents of the wicked. Therefore, we are inclined to believe that judgment of our Holy Father is more important than the judgment of our fellow humans, or perhaps the judgment of our eternal life is more important than the judgment that we receive in our current sinful lives. So whoever chooses to be a friend of the world takes his stand as an enemy of God. I know from personal experience it's hard to let go of the idea that you're being judged, and I already know that a lot of people would label me as a conspiracy theorist, which, most people are okay with. But if I were to actually talk about God, I would put the right icing right on the top. And it really freaks me out. And it's important to remember that no matter where you are, what time period you're from, the followers of Christ are always and will continue to be dragged down by those who are not. People who are vulnerable and people who are being used as weapons from the enemy in order to try to make us question our faith. But we have to reach in there. You have to hold on to it because the devil has no power over you now that you are God's child, and God doesn't just leave his children. He will fight by your side and make sure that you can't be run over by those who are your enemies. And a tiny human thought of someone else judging you won't matter anymore, because it's better to stand by your allies than to bow at the feet of your enemies. And not for one moment should you even consider the thought of bowing, because you are not defeated.